feel very, like, with you. And there were times when, like, you know, like, I'd be with you lost, but that's okay to me. Like, it's okay as long as we're both together. You know what I mean?
There was one time when I looked over at you today, and I went, and it was so great, and I'd never looked at you at that time before, and I went, I should do this more. It wasn't just like, look at you earnestly. Look at you earnestly when I'm saying something really earnest to you, earnestly.
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
Can we start off with you guys just telling us your name and the character you're playing?
You can go first, ladies first.
Sure, I'm Catharine Slusar, and I'm playing Emma.
And I'm Pearce Bunting, and I'm playing Ulysses.
Great. So you guys knew each other before the rehearsal process started. Can you tell me a little bit about how you met, your friendship?
We haven't actually worked together though.
It's
we
guilt
know
by
each other,
association.
Yeah, we've been like in like, I don't know, spheres next to each other.
Yeah, we know a lot of the same people.
We do. We got a lot of the same.
We know Joe Canuso. You know, we know people. We know people. We did a reading together 3-4 years ago called The Whale.
Right.
For Playpen, and that was really great.
But we knew each other before that. I mean, just because. Both because the world of Philadelphia and the world of theater is really small, and so. And
we did a workshop together, voice workshop with the Wilma a couple years ago, and Catherine got me my first job in Minneapolis, where I live right now, because she knew the playwrights. So, you know.
So he owes me.
It's a little mafia. I owe you.
So he owes me.
I owe
and he was in, we were in school at the same time, although he was in graduate school.
That's right. We both went to the same college, but in different places.
Right.
Have you guys found that your friendship off stage has influenced your relationship on stage?
We didn't really have a friendship off stage.
No, I don't like him.
No, I mean, I know you, but I only knew you
professionally more than personally.
So we're getting to know each other now, and she's put up with a lot of me.
No, I love Pearce.
I put up with
a lot of me.
A little bit of her, not too much to put up with. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah.
What's interesting because this couple in this play too, they knew each other intensely for 10 years and then didn't for 20. So it's like this, in some ways, knowing each other right now isn't necessarily helpful. I mean, it's about people like getting to know each other or remembering.
It's actually kind of perfect.
Right.
To know each other the amount that we know each other.
Right.
And also, we're kind of like our characters. I mean, we're not entirely like them, but we are definitely, those characters are in us and we are in them.
Sure.
I think, you know, so it's a good exercise for us to go there, I think. But it helps. Off stage, we often exhibit the same things.
Difficulties and
yes.
And triumphs.
Self-centeredness. It's all about me, because it is. That kind of stuff. Until she reminds me that it's
not.
It's not. It's also about it.
So every rehearsal process is different. What is making this rehearsal process different than other ones you've been a part of, or what kind of sticks out to you as not the best part, but the difference in the rehearsal processes you've gone through before?
It's a really hard play, and we've discovered it's, I mean, of course every play has many layers, but this one it's very, there's a lot going on, there are a lot of secrets.
Dense.
And how the secrets are revealed is, they're parceled out. They don't tend to be dropped like bombs. You get a little bit and a little bit and a little bit.
It's a play in 5 scenes, and the first 4 scenes happen in the first 20 pages, and the 5th scene goes on for 50 pages or so.
Right. So just rhythmically, it's hard, and especially like we found that the rehearsing the end of the play is so much that happens, but it all depends on what's happened before. So it's been really hard actually to rehearse the end without going back to the beginning and doing it all the way through.
And it also depends on stuff that happened before the play began.
Right.
Mostly, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really dense, super dense play. We both worked with Joe before.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Working with Joe? Better this time or last?
No, I mean, you like working with Joe?
I do like working with
Joe. Joe is he just knows how to work with actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he knows the people he's working with. So
and he knows us really well.
Yeah.
So he also knows about like our thing that we do,
and
which is helpful.
Our things, like our go-to things that we do,
Mm-hmm.
and some of those things are
Especially
helpful.
Pearce.
Yeah. Are not helpful in my case. My go-to, like, emotional thing, my actor things, and in this case, even though this character's larger than life, not larger than life, but bigger than me in certain respects.
I don't know that there are many people bigger than you.
Yeah,
actually.
I know, kind of.
Maybe back off that comment.
All right, I'm gonna backtrack out of that room. I'm gonna go down the hall to another room. Anyway, the thing is what my reaction to this situation is not the same as Ulysses's. Mm-hmm. You know, and Joe is always quick to point that out to me. Mm-hmm. But I think that, this play is just so dense, and I personally have had this really discovered in the last week after living with this play, studying it for a while before we started rehearsal. So really living with it for the past 2 months, that I thought it was one thing, and I realized that it was a lot more than that, and that what I was seeing in this character was actually kind of more of a caricature. So, like, the thing that I loved about the character were these things, but when it came time to doing them, when I would try to fulfill that vision in my own head, I was becoming more of a character, and what I needed was simply to exist with Catherine. Mm-hmm. And that's easy, so thank God for that. It is easy to exist with you.
Thank you.
Better be, we're doing another play together next year.
It's true. In for a penny, in for a pound.
But that makes it different. And I've been in a lot of plays with Joe, directing, and he really knows how to talk to me, and he's very patient with me, and he lets me go off. Both of them have let me go off, because I go off sometimes. But I trust him. He asked us to trust him, and he didn't even have to.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's true.
What has helped both of you to better understand the choices that your characters have made in the past to arrive at where the play begins?
Could you ask that again?
Yeah, I was
Yeah. What has helped you to better understand the choices that your character has made in the past to get to the place that the play begins at?
Well, a lot of, I think something that actors use a lot is sort of digging into your own biography, your own autobiography. So you look at things, not necessarily when you made the same choice, but when you're in the same place to make a choice. And so that it's not necessarily the same choice that Emma makes, but I can see what that moment of time is.
That's going on with you, but I've found these old journals, and I went through a period in my early 20s where I fancied myself a poet and a songwriter, and I lived in this little shack with a hand pump on the sink and a cistern and an outhouse, and he's 55. He's my age now, living in this bombed out trailer, but just little things like that. I have a 9-year-old son. He has a son who he hasn't seen in
Your
20
character
years.
does, not your
Yes,
son.
my character has a son he hasn't seen in 20 years, but last time he saw him, he was 5, and my son is 9. I think of my own feelings with him and my own guilty feelings that I have of just dumb things I did as a dad, that I feed on, and I write. I found myself writing a lot of morning pages, stream of consciousness stuff, and I've been mostly, Joe has made this suggestion, which has been really useful, is like, you do all this work, and we've got our lines down pretty much, and and our journey to own them and all that stuff. But lines aside, it's like you have to trust that you've done all this work, and then you sit back, or you don't sit back, but you engage and play with each other. And so what I have to find now that I've gotten through this arduous time of learning my lines every morning, every night, just pounding the script, is that I actually have to start like just sitting back and letting my mind wander in my free time. Play guitar a little bit, write a little bit, read a book, take a walk, stuff like that allows me to just process this stuff, because you can't make it all happen. It's, you can't manhandle it. You've just gotta.
And you have to forget that you know.
Yes.
So if you continue the process of pounding your lines, I mean, that probably one of the most obvious and yet most challenging parts about being an actor is that you know the ending. You know what's going to happen, and you have to forget that you know that. So oh, this is going to explode at this moment, and the problem with continually pounding your lines, once you know them, for me anyway, is that then it reminds you of the groove of where it's going to go, and really your job at a certain point becomes to forget that, so you're surprised by the turns, even though you've made choices that help you navigate that when they do appear before you.
Because if you try to control everything, it's no good. It's not life. You gotta,
What do you think are your character's biggest challenges to overcome if reconciliation is possible?
Well, the fact that I've got a serious disease that is threatening my immediate future could be one.
That's a pretty biggie.
But in a perfect world, if a miracle were to happen.
You got a lung donor or something?
Let's think optimistically. Let's say I get abducted.
Okay.
By aliens. Yeah, the organs are replaced, everything's good.
Right, okay, nice. And then how could we move forward?
We're not giving anything away to say that there is chemistry and love between these two people, I don't think, so.
And I think, interestingly, they've both grown up, in a way, by the end of the play. And so, weirdly, are actually, for the first time, really able to be with each other.
Yes.
So, the obstacles of, that have been keeping them apart are actually kind of gone at the end. I mean, of course, relationships are never easy, but the major roadblocks, the hurdles, the addictions, the control issues, etc., those have been resolved.
The car wrecks.
The car wrecks.
I have this line, my character has a line in the play that says, I have this little theory that nobody knows what they are, and that people don't know what they are until long afterwards. And I think that's, we're long afterwards in some ways than just starting in others, But I could see them having a happy life together. You got a little bit of money. You bought some groceries. It's all good.
Yeah, we're not living long on $17,000, but
yeah, but hey, you know what? That's a millionaire in my book. Plus, she's hot.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the poetry of the play and how that is worked specifically into your role?
Well, the play's got its own rhythm. It's got a back and forth rhythm. He's a bit of a cowboy, so he kind of speaks in this, I don't know, he embellishes things in a very playful way. It's very visceral, the words he uses, and I think that his poetry is that way too. We're thinking of models for him, I don't know if I really know any direct models. I would like to be able to write like this guy, because he's kind of lofty and kind of Blakean. At the same time, he's really down to earth. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't say Bukowski, but a little Robert Bly maybe in there. But also, I don't know what to say about it. I just find that the language that we speak in the play elevates us. I feel like I'm floating when I'm speaking, but rooted.
They're both They both love language, so it's
Yes.
about they play off of each other.
They
and
spar
play
with
off
each other
from
constantly.
language. So
Yes.
they pick up a phrase. Somebody says a phrase, and then it becomes a motif.
Yes.
Until it's discarded. And
Yeah,
another
they
one
both
appears.
love playing with words, with the sounds of words, with the rhythm of words, and they love passing it back and forth. In fact, they fall into a familiar patterns with each other that are still there after 20 years
Right.
away from each other,
Yeah,
that they don't have with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And which makes it, that's an interesting thing to explore in this play, is the you got all these feelings about this person, but at the same time you can't deny how good it feels to be with them. So that's
and there's a beautiful, I mean, this doesn't give anything away, but there is a beautiful poem that is read, and Sharr
that
White.
he's written.
Yeah, Sharr White, the playwright, wrote it, and it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful poem.
Yeah.
So that's something special.
All right, last question. How do each of your characters deal with crisis?
Yours not well. Emma
Depends what kind of crisis.
Mine runs. Yours like drinks. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to.
Right.
I used to drink and smoke and drink to like blackouts. Like he calls it time travel. He's done a lot of time travel before, meaning there's whole weeks he doesn't remember in his life. He wakes up and it's a week later, and he's like, what the hell happened,
Emma does a lot of redirection, a lot of aversion. Something is too close or too difficult. She's really great at going, look over there. And running away, really. I mean, that's
he
the part
asks
I
her
can
things
relate to.
dead, and dead aim, and she just point blank, and she
answers
just
a different question.
answers a different question. Yeah.
Makes line memory.
And he goes, oh, so what you're saying is this, So,
yeah.
But we also finish each other's sentences a little bit, or prompt each other to move forward, go on.
And
Right. Wild night in the theater in a way, it's I don't know what to say. It's really, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. We're flushing these people out in the play. Sure, these are very human people who have character defects, but it's about hope. This play is about hope, and everybody needs hope in their life, right?
that's a good one.
Yes.
Just put a banner outside.
Boom, everybody needs hope in their life, so come and get some hope with us.